It seems like some companies come out with new stuff just to try and sell you new stuff. But recently Holley launched the new line of Street Avenger carburetors called the Street Avenger Ultras that actually have a lot of new improvements that are definitely worth checking out. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the new Street Avenger Ultra is a bright and shiny version of the Street Avenger carburetors. Cosmetically, it looks a lot nicer than this is a zinc-bodied one. Over time, sometimes these things can get kind of dingy, so there's definitely a little cosmetic improvement there. But what you can't see in this video is that this aluminum body makes this thing, Holley says, 5 pounds lighter than the zinc-bodied version. And 5 pounds might not seem that much, but when you consider that a carburetor really only weighs, I don't know, probably less than 14 pounds total, you know, you're looking at almost 30%, you know, weight reduction right there. So that's definitely significant. The other things that they've added are these billet aluminum metering blocks now. They've got on both sides, and they've got a billet aluminum base plate. And the base plate is nice because sometimes, you know, these carburetors tend to get over-tightened. And when people over-tighten them, it'll distort this base, which means you'll end up with vacuum leaks around the middle parts where the gasket is. Well, the billet base is much stronger, and it's, you know, machined perfectly flat, so you're not going to end up with a warped base plate if you accidentally over-tighten it, which you shouldn't do anyway. You'll notice it's got all the vacuum ports that a daily driven street car requires, which is what these carburetors are all about. They're meant to be taken out of the box and thrown on the car and ready to run. The other nice thing about the billet aluminum metering blocks is that they're machined inside, and they're a little more accurate than the porous cast blocks of the zinc carburetors. So the idle mixture and the main carburetor metering is a little bit more precise. But also, they now offer a 4-corner idle adjustment. You can see we've got a screw at the base of each metering block on both sides, which will allow you to dial in that idle a lot smoother and easier from all 4 corners, so they'll make your car run smoother. Then they've added a permanent glass sight plug install on the float bowls so that you can check your float level, which should be, you know, pretty close right out of the box, but if you need to adjust it, you can see where that fuel level is safely without having to take off a brass plug, spill fuel in the manifold, make a mess, have a potentially hazardous fuel leak. You just leave these in all the time. You can check it whenever you want. Some of the other carburetors have plastic clear sight plugs that you can screw in here, but over time they can become hazy from the fuel, and they don't recommend you keep them in, so that's kind of a nice feature. Other things that the Street Avenger Ultra has, they're vacuum secondaries on the Street Avenger Ultra series, and they've got Holley's method of changing out that spring. You don't need a gasket, there's an O-ring in there, so if you need to tune your secondaries, it's real easy to do. And it's got electric choke, which again is a nice feature for a street-driven car. Now these come in a couple different sizes, a 670 and I believe a 770 CFM, and they also have them in double pumpers and Dominator Ultras. And the double pumpers are nice because they've got 2 accelerator pumps, but for the first time they now have an electric choke on a Street Avenger double pumper carburetor. So again, it's made to just bolt right on to a street-driven car and start up and be reliable and not have any problems. So they've brought a lot of innovations. I'm forgetting something. Yeah, up in here. They've got filters in the fuel inlet, so you don't have to worry about garbage getting in there. You find a lot of different things that they've added, but it still maintains all the rest of the Holley geometry and design, so you can use, you know, your accelerator pump discharge nozzles and your accelerator pump cam and all the tuning stuff that you already have for your Holley carburetors still works. So it is new, it is shiny, but it definitely has some improvements.